There is a sense of misalignment in the way we are living our lives today. In fact, everyone notices this, but hardly anyone has the time to pay attention to it and resolve what the matter is. By the way, I am Vijay, and I am a researcher working in disciplines like computer science, electronics, mathematics. I also love philosophy, consciousness, and spirituality. So, this episode is not about advising you or telling you what to do and what not to do, but this is about having a space to notice what's happening quietly in the background while we are busy hustling in life. Lately, I have had this feeling that something isn't right in the modern world or the modern life that we are living. So, if I look at this through the lens of research or through the daily activities that are happening around, the same pattern seems to be popping up in every part of life. Today, people are often heard saying, I'm tired, I'm distracted, I need a break, I need to go on a vacation, or I lack motivation. But the interesting thing is that such statements and comments come from people whose life seems to be pretty much stable if you look from the outside. And when such credible people are making such statements and comments, it makes me wonder of one important question and observation. Why hasn't progress translated into peace? And when I say peace, I mean peace of mind. So if we see life today, it is way much more easier than it has ever been. Things are done faster, life is much more convenient, it's more comfortable. You can literally order food within seconds. You can do your job from anywhere. So there are remote jobs. You can perform your professional duties even without getting out of the chair. So we have moved decades ahead in terms of comfortability. But has it really converted into having the peace of mind that people actually need? Despite the scientific progress that we have achieved over the decades, where people have put in efforts to make our life easy and convenient, people do not seem to be at ease. Things are done quicker to save time, to have more spare time at our hand. But that spare time is not leading to rest. Why? Probably because our mind is not ready to slow down. Now, does this mean that progress has only solved the external problems? Because from the way we operate today, it is clearly evident that it has not taught us to feel settled. My second observation is with respect to productivity. Now, this is the most talked and hyped term in the corporate and professional world. So, if we look at the lives of this and lives and days of these corporate people, their days are pretty much organized. They go to offices on time, they attend meetings, they answer calls, they meet deadlines. So, from one vantage point, if you observe, their lives are pretty much productive. But if we zoom in, we might actually realize whether the productivity is turning into or giving them the feeling of completeness, or is there the feeling of emptiness that is residing within? So what's happening is we are moving from one task to another in a very short period of time. We complete a goal, move to the next one immediately. Even accomplishments are brief today. Let's say you land a new job and it was a dream job. Or let's say you win a very prestigious award. You immediately move to your next target, and hence the memory of the previous accomplishment is not even there. So you cannot even feel and experience what was actually the outcome of your previous accomplishment. My third observation is with respect to choices. Why having more choices does not equate to freedom anymore. Today we have choices in almost everything, and we have more choices than ever before. For instance, we have multiple career choices, we have lifestyle choices, the way we want to live, in which city we want to live. So choices are there almost in all walks of life. Traditionally, more choices meant freedom, but today that's not the scenario. Today, when people are given more options, they kind of feel overwhelmed. I'll narrate my experience here. So I lived in a metropolitan city from 2015 to 2017, and it was a very busy city. So if you had to explore the city, you had to choose weekends or public holidays when the public transport was readily accessible and there was less of public. So when I took the bus from point A to point B, what I realized was that the bus was usually empty on those days, and there were multiple seats available for me to choose from. So in the first instance, I used to choose first seat, and then feel after occupying that seat, I used to feel that the other seat is better, and then I used to move to second seat. And in this way, the situation actually unfolded. And it made me realize that when we have multiple options and choices to choose from, our brain or mind cannot comprehend which is the best one, and so we end up being kind of confused. Another reason for this is that we are constantly afraid of making the wrong choices. And this is because society has tied individuals' identity to a metric of performance. So, in whatever life stage you may be, your performance in that life stage is important for the society. And what the society might think is the fear that we have, and that is why we are afraid of making the wrong choices, which shouldn't be the case ideally. As a consequence, you're not just living, but you're presenting a version of ourselves, be it at work, be it at social media, be it personal conversations. So you're trying to showcase an image that is not you by wearing a mask, correct? And this can become tiring over a period of time, not because it's fake. I'm not saying this will be a fake case in all the scenarios, but since it requires constant effort to maintain that image over a longer duration, that's why it can become tiring. So what do these observations really mean? In my perspective, we have developed and optimized systems for our society, but we have truly forgotten humans and overlooked humans who are supposed to experience them. Generally, when something feels off, our instinctive and natural response is to fix it, to optimize the systems more, and to improve ourselves to an extent that that feeling goes away and fades away completely. Now, each one has their own way of responding to situations and circumstances. So there is no defined pattern of how we need to respond when something feels off or something doesn't feel right. But another plausible or reasonable response could be just to stay with that feeling long enough to observe and notice what it's pointing to. Maybe then you can reach the root cause or the source of the problem and then resolve it in a much better way. Maybe nothing needs to be solved. Maybe something just needs to be felt. So if you observe the entire cosmos around you, you might observe that everything exists in peace and harmony, be it plants, animals, insects, birds, aquatic life. No one is in a hurry. No one is pushing, rushing, or worrying except humans. So what nature teaches us is to simply be, rather than what's happening right now, where we are constantly trying to become. I'll close this by saying life today is measured in speed. It would be better if life is measured in depth. Thank you.